that in here. I'll send the email out. So if anyone wants any notes, I think what I'm going to do tomorrow, just because it's like, oh, if I do a lesson and like an actual lesson, well, you guys and period 3 can't get there before 12 o'clock because, well, you're supposed to be in class. So what I might do is I will be online. I'll put it in, I'll do like an in-class assignment, but what I might, I'll post an assignment. I will come on and do like an example of each type of question. And then it'll be one that will be, here's a couple conversions, here's a couple perimeters, here's a couple areas. And that, if you want, we have these breakout rooms, which I've never actually used. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, look at this. Choose number of rooms to create. Apparently, I can choose who goes into each room. So if you wanted help, oh, okay, that's kind of the idea. And like they're fine with me being there all day. It will get me out of my wife's hair for a day, which she will, because she works from home too. So she will probably enjoy the fact that I'm not here and my schedule is a little bit more flexible than hers. So I wish I could make a notification when that chat. Can I? No, that just tells me to do that. What's this? Set delivery options? I don't know what that means. I keep talking about like, oh, I know how to use this thing, but it bings sometimes, but it doesn't. There's, I don't know what this does. Oh, isn't that empty? So Mrs. Douglas and I will be here tomorrow if like we can put people in breakout rooms if you have questions that you don't want to ask in front of other people. Because I'll be at the school, I'll probably stick around for most of the hour, but I will tell parents in school messenger. I can send an email and say, hey, I'll be there guaranteed outside at this time. If you want to pick up at a different time, send me an email and I'll try to work something out. And if you can pick something up for somebody else, that would be fine. I honestly have no idea how many copies to make because this is all new and hopefully something happens today or tomorrow to let us go home. So we've done perimeter, which is the length around and circumference, which is a circle. So now I'm going to pull this one up. Oh, that was a bang there. Admit Morgan. So I'm not going to go through and count all of these ones because this is. I mentioned at one point a really awesome question for perimeter and finance would be, hey, how somebody wants to make a fence. Well, the thing for area is the number of squares. If we were sitting at school, I would say I can count the square feet of my classroom because each of those floor tiles is essentially 1 square foot. So I can do that. So that would give me my classroom area. I could, something just fell on the floor. That's interesting. I could convert that to meters or whatever, but you can figure out, this is how you figure out, well, I have a room that's this many square feet. How much flooring do I need? So all of these units now are going to have a squared up on them. We can count square units like that are down here. So I'm just going to go through a couple of these, like 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all essentially the same. The rest of them will do a little bit. But count the number of squares it takes. Well, if I look at shape number 1, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 units squared is like, these are very straightforward. We're not going to do a whole bunch. like these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 units squared, or square units. Wrong one. Just check. I go. Why does that do that? I was here and I minimized it and it went. Buzz off. These ones down here have a little bit. We have these diagonals, which I would assume that is a half of a square unit. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Oh, maybe. What? Why did that just flash yellow? I am confused. It's Monday. I assume other people saw that as well. I'm going crazy. Sorry. So this one we have, I'm going to just do some math over here. For shape number 5, we have 4 at square units. Well, that's 2 square units. Then I can go through and count the rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. That would be 14. Oh no. Units squared. And that was shape number 5. So far, so good. We can just count 1, 2, and then all of those. And I will fill those in when I post this later. So for a polygon, we have formulas. The trickiest one of the polygons, and this is one like when we have a test or something, you're going to get a formula sheet that has like that block for unit conversions. You're going to have these. We'll have volume things that for this one might be a couple of pages. So you don't really have to memorize these. Most of them are all, if it's the simple quadrilaterals, side times side, a times a. Some people will call this length and width, but for a square, they're the same. The area of a rectangle is the length of the rectangle times the width. For a parallelogram, we have this height, and the base, that diagonal side doesn't actually work. So the base times the height. A triangle is base times height, or a half of base times height. That's how I learned it. Some people like the triangle one, like that. These two are essentially equal. The trapezoid is the one that's a little bit weird because we have the height. We have to essentially average A and B. So the trapezoid one, sometimes people will see area equals A plus B times H over 2. And then we have our friend the circle. The circle one, we need, in this case, the radius. So those are the simple shapes that we're going to look at. We can kind of use those for just about anything. So that you will have printed tomorrow. Calculating the area, it's good to determine what shape we're dealing with. Once we know this, we pick the appropriate one. Determine the area of the figures. Make sure you label the type of figure and then show your calculation. So really, I've got a few to do, which I think is one of each type. And then there are some practice. So number A, this one, well, it's a parallelogram. So we need the base and the height. In this case, well, the height is easy. That one, sometimes you're going to get information that you don't actually need. This, we don't need. Because, and that's your math teacher's idea of saying, okay, who knows? Like, yeah, I know you can put numbers in a formula and multiply them, but do I need that? So the base for this one, well, the base and the top, those are both the same thing. So in this case, the base is 10 millimeters. The height is 3 millimeters. And then we're going to multiply that. 10 times 3 is 30 millimeters squared. Nothing in the chat. Good. So just in case, I don't know if everyone was here, I'm going to print some stuff at school tomorrow, and you will be able to, what on earth is going on upstairs? Pick it up. I will be there from, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that's very weird. So you'll be able to pick some of these things up. Question number B. This is because I've got 3 sides that are the same. Technically, that needs to be there to make it actually. So in this case, area is, I think the page up there said a squared. I always used it as side squared, but side a makes more sense. What? Why does my page down button not work half of the time? In this case, a equals 4. 4 squared is 16 meters squared. So far, so good, I hope. This is a trapezoid. So this is our A value. This is our B value. This is our H. Personally, I don't mind fractions, so I'm going to start with. This is one of these ones that it's like, which ones are you guys going to be the most comfortable with? A plus B times H divided by 2. Because it's all multiplication and division, so the order doesn't actually matter other than that addition. So A is 34 centimeters plus B is 42 centimeters multiplied by H, which is 29 centimeters divided by 2. 76. Oh, I wish I could multiply those two together in my head. 76 times 29. Now, I'm going to write it out in both steps. What's going on? Equals. Centimeters times centimeters is centimeters squared divided by 2. When I divide it by 2, I get that. If you are comfortable with your calculator, and this is one that your calculator should be able to do, if you get to that step, I did that, then just divide that by 2, and we get the answer right out. That one is probably going to be the trickiest one, just because it has that you have to do this step must be done first because of order of operations, brackets. Circle. pi times r times squared, just like Friday. I should have done that in a different color, but that ship has sailed. 4 squared is 16 times pi. U is the whole big number, 50.27 centimeters squared. Now, 4 times 4 times 4. If you use 3.14, you would get 50.24 centimeters squared. Not a big difference. I'm not going to mark it wrong because it's, you know what you're doing. Just because you used a slightly different number, that's okay. But the more comfortable you are with the pi button, the better things are going to be. So far, so good, I hope. Oh, I saw a notification. Maybe that was. So what was that? The last two. We have our friend, the triangle. And I'm not sure I can figure out what that one is, but I'm going to guess it's a rectangle. The only real difference with these is they've got these silly fractions. Well, 6 1/4. Well, what's a quarter as a decimal? Well, it's a quarter of a dollar is 25 cents. So that's 6.25 meters. And that would be 12.5 meters. No worries. These things happen. Base times height divided by 2. This one horizontally just because of space. The base is 12 1/2. The height is 6 1/4. Divide that by 2. Oh, I used to know what 625 and 625. I do not know what that is off the top of my head. 12.5 times 6.25 divided by 2 equals 390,620. 0.06 meters squared. Maybe Ben's talking to his teacher. Same thing with this one. Length and width. And we just multiply those out. .69 millimeters squared. So that is an example, I think, of all 6 of the shapes that you are likely to see. Okay, we're still recording. Are there any questions? Go away. No, Derek's good. So if we go through down here, and this is one that I'm sure you could like look on the internet, finding the area of shapes. So we've got some, what just happened there? Weird. Some squares and rectangles, some parallelograms. That the way this is, that's the height, that's the base. There's nothing that you have to figure out. That's a little bizarre. Make that a decimal. A couple trapezoids. One turn sideways. That's A, that's B, that's H. Well, this uses big B and little b, but it's the same. Some triangles. And some triangles. Ooh, some circles. So the more of that we get done, the better. Tomorrow, or well, not tomorrow, but Wednesday, we're going to look at composite shapes. So if I put a triangle and part of a circle beside it, or a rectangle and a circle on top, or if we, oh, hey, I know what sort of thing we can compare it to. Like this one. If I asked you to find the area of that thing, which is a great way for me to use a test question because I already have a picture. I've got two semicircles, which gives me the area of a circle. And then I've got a rectangle. Oh, I love this because it doesn't actually give you that. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. That's a wonderful question. I'm finding all sorts of fun questions because I'm a crazy person. So if you missed or forgot, I will post down here that I will be at school. I will guarantee I'm going to basically spend the noon hour from 12 to 1, because, or maybe a little bit before 12, because normally the classes, I don't want to have you on for half an hour. From probably 11:30, 11:45 until 1, I will be outside with stuff you can pick up. If you can pick it up for a couple other people and all of that, that would be fine. I will send an email out, and I will, like, because I'm going to have to combine some stuff to print it together. That way, I don't think I need to share my screen anymore. That way you can have some stuff, because I don't know. I might give stuff into next week. I may just do all of the rest of this stuff because I don't know when we're going to be back. Hopefully it's next week, but just in case. And then if I have to come in and do something again, I don't know what is going on, but hopefully that makes sense for everybody. Is there any questions before I let you? Oh, Kiara is going. I'm gonna